Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to Barcelona, welcome to SmartCon, and welcome to our Asia panel. Just 2 hours ago, Sergey and Joseph has a very fruitful discussion for the fireside chat. I don't know any of you listened to that. That's very impressive. Of course, Joseph is from Hong Kong. Hong Kong is also one part of the Asia region, very importantly. So today, we want to talk about Asia. As we know, especially during the last 1 or 2 years, Asia Web3 industry is increasingly is playing a very, very good position all over the world. So today, it's also my honor to introduce the 4 people here. I'm Lance Liu. I'm the head of Asia Chainlink. So to be short, let our guests to present themselves.
Thank you, Lance. Hi, guys. My name is David. I'm based in Hong Kong. I'm from Tencent Cloud International. And I look after the Web3 strategy development for Tencent Cloud in all of the global markets, including strategic developments and strategic partnerships with the blockchains and some of the crypto exchanges, too. And happy to be in Barcelona.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gavin Wong. I'm from SNZ. I'm managing partner and CIO of the venture capital. So SNZ invested Ethereum back in 2015 and invested in Chainlink in 2019. Since then, we have been strategic partner for Chainlink, and then very happy to support like Chainlink from every angle, like Asian strategy, community building, and investment. Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you for coming. Cynthia.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Wu, co-founder and CEO of Matrixport. Matrixport is a crypto financial services product platform. We focus on crypto custody, asset management, and brokerage. And specifically this year, we set the eye on real-world asset tokenization, and we built a sub-brand called Matrix Stock. And the first product we tokenize is US Treasury bill. That's also the areas we have a lot of collaboration with Chainlink.
Welcome.
Okay, I'm Eddie Lau from Other Tafin, CEO of Other Tafin, and also I lead the blockchain finance project. We actually carry 9 different financial licenses in Hong Kong. We also work with multiple parties, including regulators, HKMA, for example, and CBDC.
Welcome all of you. Frankly speaking, it's very hard to decide which one will be invited to here. Because, for example, we also have the representative for Southeast Asia, and because of sometimes because visa issue, et cetera, they cannot be here. But again, the 4 guests here are very important, very representative, and then let's talk together. So first question, so how do you see Asia is positioned themselves for this kind of adoption of Web3 industry and also digital assets? And what's the unique advantage and also this kind of drivers in this region? So, again, David.
Okay, sure, I'll go first. So we as like a cloud providers, right, we do observe how different projects, they position themselves in Asia. And from my conversations with the different projects, and they really value the user base in Asia. To take a couple examples, right, in some of the East Asian countries like China, and Japan, and Korea, there's lots of traders in there, and some of the projects, they really value the user base there, and that's why we're working with them to not only to incubate more of the user base there, but also to bring some of the foreign exchange to also to break into the local markets too. And also another example would be from Southeast Asia, and we all know like GameFi and DeFi have been hot in Southeast Asia, right? And also some of the developing countries, they actually live on the X2M models. So that also reflects on like the user base are slightly more mature compared to other regions in the world.
Great, that's good. That's amazing. That's good insight because from my observation, during the discussion with the global customers, we can see definitely this kind of value. Okay, how about you?
I would say, firstly, Web3 is naturally a kind of global business. So I would say, we can see lots of, cross-region collaborations. Secondly, I would say Asia is back to the old days, right? So Asia has picked up blockchain and digital asset very early. Even back to 2015, 2016, we have been bringing Vitalik to do lots of smart contract workshop. Back to 2019, we have arranged lots of community events for Chainlink in the region. So we think like the long history is very deep-rooted community in Asia. Thirdly, as David mentioned, like the market is very big in Asia. I would say capital, there are lots of active investors in Asia. Well, sometimes like even investors are a little bit more kind of ambitious and aggressive, I would say. And lastly, as Joseph just mentioned, like locally we have see lots of great effort from government like to support from a policy perspective as well as providing more clarity from legal framework perspective. Those are something I have seen is very positive sign in Hong Kong, in the region. I will strongly recommend all of you to come to Hong Kong and check it out. Yeah,
great. Same. During the, April Hong Kong Festival, we can see that because we still, SNZ is one of the most important venture capital in Asia, and we can definitely see that even, that's the market is not so, it's a bear market, but we can still see that many Asian capitals are very active. So how about you, Cynthia?
Yeah, definitely. We are more focused on the investment community. So I think Asia has a unique advantage in the crypto investment perspective because Asia has the most strong retail interest in investment, and a lot of the retail are very, I would say, financial savvy. They are very keen to invest themselves and invest a lot of their time in understanding the investment strategies and choose which partners to interact with. So you can see a very strong retail interest in Asia. And also, I think from the market perspective, Asia has, even it's one region, but actually it has 3 global financial centers: Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore, right? And you can find a lot of very sound legal and regulatory framework in each of these financial markets. You can also see there's abundance in the professional talent in this market, from the banking, investment, trading, risk management, and the accounting and the tax. And also Hong Kong specifically, that's also where I live, is very close to Greater Bay Area of China, where it's a home for many prominent Web2 internet companies. And a lot of these companies actually has a major layoff last year, as you can imagine, similar to the Silicon Valley. And a lot of these laid-off developers are now find their way into Web3. So Hong Kong, I think, has a unique advantage in attracting a lot of these Greater Bay Area developers into Web3 and give them capital and give them opportunity to really excel in Web3.
Great. Cannot agree more. As we know, Asia is really, because of the big population, because of the good environment, good enough infrastructure, and also this kind of high rate increasing for the GDP, et cetera, it's really giving us this kind of advantage. Yeah, Eddie.
Well, Asia is quite big, so Hong
sure.
Kong, Singapore, I think, but Hong Kong and Singapore would be the center for me. I think on one end, there is, I think there's a holy grail where whoever can kind of figure out how to connect Singapore and Hong Kong, taking the best of both, that would be probably the best value proposition out there. And within Hong Kong, or I think, or basically North Asia, it is one of the probably very few places in the world where CBDCs exist. And CBDC sounds like a government thing or whatnot. In fact, it is something that touches every single retails when you think of it. That's the ultimate goal.
Sure.
They have wholesale CBDC, they have retail CBDC. And when you, hang out with people, there are 2 types of people where they use on-chain asset and they actually pay by, settle by on-chain payment, right? USDC, whatnot. There's also another world, which is kind of the next guy drinking with you, who is using CBDC, doing real business to settle what you call construction receivable, for example. So this is probably the only place where you see both, and then they try to work together. I think that's another golden opportunity.
Sure. Super. So you can see the 4 guys from different domain, and then infrastructure, venture capital, asset management, et cetera. So it's amazing. So again, David, first question, Tencent. I think globally, we all know the name. So you're a key player in Web2, in cloud. So how do you view how Tencent will support the next generation of the builders and the infrastructure?
Yep. So Tencent itself, it's a very big group, right? It has a different subsidiaries, for example, like in social media, in games, and my departments are from Tencent Cloud. So Tencent Cloud, we are supporting the different projects in Web3 in terms of to help them grow, to scale, and also to sustain in the longer term.
Sure.
So there are different things that we're offering for the different builders globally, right? So for one, we are providing them with the highly tested cloud infrastructures and products to help them build faster. And for two, we really embrace the ecosystem play in Web3. So as with Chainlink, right?
Sure.
We want to really support the projects to break into different ecosystem in every parts of the world and to succeed in the longer run. And the last one I would comment on, because there's lots of wonderful projects and also the founders in the scene, right? So we are providing a Tencent Cloud Start program, and we're offering up to 100K of USD credits to help the different projects to build. So we are, in sum, right, helping the different projects to build in terms of products, go-to-market strategies, and also some of the free financial resources we have available at Tencent Cloud.
Super. Thank you very much again. So for the support to the build program. And by the way, I do believe that I like this kind of long-term wording, because I do believe that the giant in the Web2 industry can really help for this new industry. So how about you, Gavin? So.
Well, since day one, SNZ has always been very supportive for communities. Like our slogan is like for builders and by builders. So that we spend tons of time doing community building, incubation, then investment. So our takeaway, to build an ecosystem is like, first one, you need to be very persistent. Like saying, kind of, it's a long-term job. Like like Rome was not built in one day. So like we have been doing this since the 2014, 2015. Second thing is like you need to be makers instead of takers. Like so for us, like we are not only providing like capital to our portfolio, we provide like whatever we can, like so to support them from BD perspective, to support them to do hiring, to get them kind of investment from later stage investors as well. That's the second point. The last point I will say, like to do things systematically and also with very solid execution. Right, taken a build project of Chainlink as example. Right, we work very closely with Chainlink and with Oliver's team on this. Like the screen down like from thousands of candidates and to make a cohort of like roughly nearly 100 projects. And we also provide our opinion from the investment kind of perspective, and also provide like capital support for our perspective. Like say, it's kind of a collaboration from this space. And on the other hand, we just do like top-down kind of work to find out, okay, what is missing within the Chainlink ecosystem. Then we just kind of try to get talents to do that. So that's all my takeaways. Thanks.
Super. I also like the wording persistent, consistent. So thank you very much, not only for Chainlink, but also the NCZ to the contributions of the whole industry. And then Cynthia, we know that right now MatrixPort is really, really prioritizing the kind of RWA, digital assets. So what's your view?
On digital RWA's potential? Yeah, sure. So I think RWA, to us, why we as a crypto asset manager and custodian and broker want to set up a new business line and focus on RWA is really because we see blockchain and the DeFi as an infrastructure, as a next-gen financial infrastructure that potentially could be superior to take over the incumbent financial infrastructure, both in size and in terms of efficiency. So what would take for that to happen, right? I think very importantly is how sound and robust the infrastructure itself has been, right? That we have been building that collectively as a community for years, more than a decade. And another thing which is missing is that currently we're dealing with slightly more than 1 trillion asset, which most of that is a crypto native asset. And for the good asset you can name off is probably less than 100, right? But is that enough? Definitely not, right? So other way, in my opinion, is to bring the real demand to our infrastructure where all of us are building. Because if you can introduce the next 1 trillion, 100 trillion assets through real-world asset tokenization and bring them on-chain, then the infrastructure you are building today is the utility of that is amplified, right? So that's what we think would be meaningful. But of course, we're just taking the step one. We're taking the baby step to do the first tokenization of bringing the public securities, U.S. public securities on chain. However, I think that's only the starting point. And going down that route, I think we can think of other assets, property, real estate, property markets. We can think of a private credit market. We can think of precious metals, commodity markets, and also even securities. Would that be the next wave of tokenization? I think that's a very interesting topic to explore.
For sure, for sure. That's very exciting, you know. As we also talk, Chainlink, we were also thinking about how to make the pie bigger.
Yeah.
Is how to merge or transform from different industry. That's also my next question to all of you. How do you see this kind of a transition or transforming? But before that, we know, Eddie, you are doing a very, very brilliant, excited job with Hong Kong. So could you please introduce about that?
Yeah, we are selected by Hong Kong MA along with 12 other groups, 11 other groups to be exact, on 16 different use cases in relation with EHKD, which is the Hong Kong CBDC. And then we have to present why, I mean, EHKD will be useful in what kind of use case, and we actually have to build the models, we have to do survey. So we're coming close to the whole journey, and it will be announced in a month's time. I think one thing that I echo both, probably four of you, is basically DLT-based solution will be superior in some sense. But as you probably know, when you go to established financial institutions, where banks or payment company even, you know, they tend to be more sticky. I've done this, I've been there, I was doing this when you were kids, you know. So this system has been around since your grandparents are alive, you know. So basically there is something that is institutional, that carry a heritage, that has also advantage. And I think the challenge is to convince them and prove to them and actually, you know, actually implement it in a way that they understand and in a way that they can accept. And I think CCIP is a perfect example. Sure. Perfect example, where you don't go in and break everything and say, this is not right, this is not good, I'm better, but you guys have some great stuff, I have some great stuff too, I can connect you guys together. And I think taking the best of both is actually what I have learned over the whole project. Because when you do CBDC, what's the point? You know, do you want to make some payment to someone so that you achieve some efficiency? Yes, absolutely. But then those assets will be on-chain. That means we're back to DeFi. That means it will be Solana, Ethereum, you know, Polygon, or any other chains. Link, for example, can become one of them. So how do you connect the seemingly, you know, less decentralized digital asset with something highly decentralized? So that's one of the hurdles that we have overcome. And I think, long story short, I think when you work in an environment where there are a lot of traditional people, they're cycling more traditional types of digital asset, and then you try to bring them to a decentralized world, there is a huge challenge, but then now I think it's slowly coming together, which is a great news, and it's a great opportunity as well.
For sure. Yeah. You know, we learn a lot from Eddie. So even, you know, we met each other even during the typhoon in Hong Kong, but it's amazing.
Typhoon number 9, actually.
Yeah.
You know, by the time I got home, it was typhoon number 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
I wouldn't be able to get home if I got home slower.
You guys
yeah.
work too hard.
We
work very hard.
First.
We work very hard.
Safety first.
We like each other.
We are really working hard for this industry.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
The typhoon boosted the momentum, right?
That's good sign.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, so what do you think, what's your insight? First of all, you are you already introduced about the status, what you are doing, etc., etc. My question will be, what's your insights? The blockchain industry or Web3 will be playing what kind of role to transform the traditional industry operation, and how this technology will embrace this traditional industry and bring the value added hugely. Again, so David.
Sure. I want to share from a game perspective, because Tencent itself is a gaming company, right? And we actually working with most of the Web3 games in the space. So as we know, right, like gamers, they have found like they have a better ownership of their identities and also their digital assets through the usage of blockchain and also the different kinds of wallets. And also from the game studios' perspective, they also realize that in Web3 games, the ARPU, which is, stands for average revenue per users, and also the user stickiness are much higher compared to Web2 games. So as we see it, right, like the gamers, they love that the fact that they could have better control and ownership of the in-game assets, and gaming companies, they see there's way more value for them to obtain from the new game. So it's like a natural match in the gaming industry to adopt more of the Web3 technology, the different blockchains, and also the different types of solutions in games. So I do believe that blockchain adoptions in game industry worldwide, it's only going to increase. And in fact, there's actually lots of the gaming studios that are preparing to launch their Web3 games, so stay tuned for the following months.
Super, that's true. I don't know how many of you has been participating in our pre-game day. That was amazing from our observation. And of course, that's one of the trends can be happening in global, Asia, and great to know that Tencent is paying attention in this domain. Of course, you are the expert in this domain. Kevin,
sure.
please.
My humble 2 cents, like from investment perspective, right? We are looking, when we're talking about like blockchain, crypto, we have two major investment theses. The first one is like digital assets and as an alternative asset class, the penetration rate and the wallet share going up, right? So that's a kind of an inevitable trend. But then the question will be, what are the assets? Where this could happen first? Like when it will happen? Then how we can participate and who can benefit from that? So that's the first one. I think that everyone could think about that, like how to participate in this. And the second one is more about related to Web3 or next generation internet, right? It's kind of that one is more related to disruptive tech innovation, the massive adoption of the application, etc. So that is like I would say still remain to be kind of to be seen. It's still quite challenging. Well, as David mentioned, like the lots of game studios are trying to do Web3 and to onboard more kind of users, etc. As Cynthia mentioned, like lots of Web2 kind of developers, they jump into this industry and to try the emerging app genres. So I would say like for the second part, like we still like lots of potentials in all the kind of subsectors, but still we need to have more kind of solid efforts to be more practical. Yeah, so that's my take.
For sure. Frankly speaking, I'm very glad to talk with Gavin, with SNZ and other key VCs, because they really have the good view and also they can really touch this kind of market trend, et cetera, and then by filtering them to a good shape, and then so that we can really invest and also we can move that to success.
Yeah.
Cynthia.
Yeah, maybe I can share a small example that how we think we as a financial services provider can help increase the efficiency of trading the traditional asset. So this year, when we tokenize the U.S. Treasury bill, right? So what we need to do is that for the minting of the SDBT, which is a treasury token, we'll have to buy the U.S. Treasury from the brokers and custodize with one of the custodian banks. So we can actually feel like the efficiency of the off-chain world and the on-chain world, right? So for example, the typical experience we have to receive the stablecoin from our users, we off-ramp that into US dollar, and then we fund that US dollar into a broker account, and then we trade, we buy treasuries or repos, and then typically that settles T+1, right? Only after T+1 you can get the underlying treasury. And then what we do is we mint the SCBT token, which is the on-chain representation of that. And we basically treat that 24/7. We create an on-chain market on Curve. So even though when US business days, it's not US trading day, during the weekend, we can still trade the asset 24/7, and it's settled instantaneously in the Curve pool that the on-chain markets we create. So we can feel the efficiency. basically move the trading experience and settlement experience from the T+1, T+2 into an instantaneous settlement and liquidity 24/7. So I think even though currently we probably only have 150 users in this network and doing this trade, but imagine in the future if the major banks and brokers are also participating in this market. I'm not saying that in the market that we build, but in one of the on-chain market that we collectively trade, you can imagine that this could really become a much more powerful and much more liquid market and asset than it is now. So I'm just giving an example, but I think this is the right direction we are pushing the industry, and this is the right direction we are doing the tokenized assets.
Great, great. Thanks. We have matched part there, so to this kind of innovation and also this kind of value added, more efficient, etc., etc. Eddie,
yeah,
please.
I think David talked about gaming. Both of you talk about investment. I'll probably talk about user experience, consumer. I've been managing money for a while as well, and when we manage money, we think of what stock we buy, what bond we have bought, private equity, maybe sometime in real estate. You think from a position perspective. You have a portfolio of positions. So for once now, with a smart contract, you can think from just money perspective. After all, like your advisor usually tell you, hey, your asset allocation is this, how much percentage in bond, how much in equity, what's the target yield, what's your maximum drawdown. All this happen with the money, actually, with the capital. But you don't really know this because you're managing positions. So with smart contract and programmable money, you can actually tell the money what you want.
Sure.
So that's the use case that we submitted to Hong Kong MA. It's a simple one, so everyone have small balance, and we try to actually improve financial inclusion in this whole solution. So on average, $100 US in small balance in your kind of payment wallets, and then you can move it on chain because these are programmable money, and then your wife wants you to give this $100 to her in 5 days for some reason, you can't say no, I guess. So and you can't forget, by the way. So so you have to make it. You can actually do it on a smart contract. You program it. You want 5% per annum for 5 days. So that's how the instant or atomic deliverable versus payment settlements of CBDC or stablecoin versus security token, for example, a tokenized treasury, a tokenized fund would work. I think it's a, what do you call it? Then you look back, why don't you go to some of these fund subscription platforms and take a look? How can this one be better than the other one? I think that's one of the challenge actually. Again, to prove that this is better, or at least this solution is built on some of the existing solution, and then you build something on top with DLT, blockchain, cryptography, whatnot, and then you prove that it become a better customer experience. So I think that's where the trend is going to, because ultimately all these things have to make people happy. And if people are happy, they use you. And then if they use you, they pay you. So I think that's how the whole thing would survive. And last but not least, I think where the next opportunity will come in. But now that everyone is doing RWA, tokenization, or even CBDC stablecoins, these things become more popular. I think last session was perfect because when you have programmability in your smart contract, when you can direct the smart contract on what you want to do as a customer, you actually want the machine or the smart contract to talk to you. So you don't have to face any human being anymore. In fact, this is a settlement process or trading process that can be automated, and that should have been more automated. And last session was perfect. The Google guy was talking about privacy preserving decentralized identity.
Sure.
That's what you need. You need that so that the smart contract understand what you do and who you are. And then you can direct the contract in a smart way. I think that's going to be a big opportunity. Super. And then proof of reserve and all this CCIP, again, I can't help but I have to mention it again. CCIP is going to be very important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah. Just genius. You can see infrastructure. You can see venture capital. You can see this kind of traditional expertise. And also, Eddie, we have you. Every time I talk with you, I feel that there is so many computing power behind, and then that's really amazing. Okay, so time's flying. We only have 2 minutes. So just one sentence for each of you to describe the vision to this industry.
For me, I see the industry to move forward in two parallel lines. One is the continuous Web3 native crypto innovation, and the other line would be the growingly public awareness and adoption of virtual asset.
Cool. Offline, I will bring to one sentence, please.
Well, as mentioned, like digital asset as an alternative asset class, the trend is inevitable. Like, just do it. Yeah.
You're using my wording, please.
Yeah, I guess for me it's build a more equitable and inclusive financial market.
Yeah, me would be cross-chain, but this time you have the TriFi and the DeFi, and within DeFi, different types of DeFi chain, and then within TriFi, you have different types of TriFi, tokenized deposit, CBDC, stablecoins, regulated or not. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So that's the end. If on-chain future is inevitable, if Asia increase is inevitable, we will be working harder. And by the way, welcome to Asia. Thank you.
Thank you.